A girl punished in the most horrible way by her own parent, kept naked in the confines of her own house for 4 long years. All that she dared to do was fall in love, and the parents had disapproved of that match.
This young woman has been held a prisoner in her own house for years, naked. Punished by her parents for falling in love, a charge denied by her family. But what explains her condition? According to sources in the police, the girl fell in love with a boy, and the parents decided to punish her for having dared to carry on a love affair. In their defense, the victim's family claims that their daughter is a mentally ill, paralytic, and needs to be restrained. Police say that the young girl is hardly in a position to speak, and they are waiting for her to recover completely before they probe her for more details.
ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಹಸುವಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಹಸುವಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಹಸುವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೇಕು ಬೇಗ ಅವಾಗ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಅವಾಗ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ.
The young woman's parents have told the police that they ensured the best possible treatment for their daughter. Neighbors claim they haven't ever seen the girl venturing out of her house. They were chased away by her family. Finally, they alerted the cops after they couldn't bear to hear her screams anymore. However, the girl's family denies all charges.
Past 4 years she is lying in the same place, and when the neighboring men and women entered, Malaysia is, as you know, very densely populated area, and as we noticed, we entered yesterday night, the neighbors, what they noticed, she was laying at the same place from the past 4 years, and a day needs were done at the same place. I don't need to brief about that, yes. And she was half naked.
ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ 2 ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಯನ್ನು, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗಿ ಮನೇಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಟಬ್ಬರ್ನ್, ಹಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
For 4 years, a girl has been locked up in this very house, and for 4 years she has undergone a traumatic experience because her parents have locked her in this particular room for 4 years with no clothes to wear, just give her barely something to eat.
If this young woman was receiving the best treatment and care, can her parents explain her worsening condition? What about her overgrown nails?
उनके कोई प्रेम संबंध थे, उसकी वजह से 4 साल से उनके पेरेंट्स ने बंदी बना रखा था, और 4-5 साल तक किसी लड़की को बंदी बनाना, मैं सोचती हूँ उन्होंने एक अपराध किया है.
This hapless young woman's situation just exposes how medieval mindsets continue to pervade even today. With Pratibha Raman in Bangalore, Chandni for Headlines Today.
We're going to cut across at this point of time. My colleague Pratibha Raman joined us from Malleshwaram with the very latest. We are also going to be joined at this point of time by Pramila Nisargi, women's rights activist and lawyer. Let's cut across to Pratibha at this point of time. Pratibha, the question I put forth and what's foremost in everybody's mind is, what is the medical condition of this young 26-year-old? 4 years is a long time to live in confinement, and visuals of her speak larger than words there. What is the medical condition of this young girl?
As of now, the girl is not in a position to speak, so she's in a very terrible state. So the moment we took her to the hospital, her condition was very pathetic. In fact, her nails were overgrown and nobody had really bothered to cut her nails, nor even give her a bath. Her hair was so dry, so she was in that kind of state. So the first and foremost step is to clean her up properly, and then perhaps give her some kind of a psychological treatment, because she has underwent a depression. So people were saying that her family was saying that she was in depression for quite some time now, and which is why they had to take her to 2 of the city hospitals, and some kind of blood transfusion was also done, and still it did not really help. She behaved very weirdly. She used to be really stubborn and suddenly start screaming. So this is the family's version. So we'll also have another version where the neighbors say that she was otherwise a very normal child. So whether she actually had this prior to the 4-year period that she was in confinement or not is yet expect a matter to really be found out. Once she recovers is when we will actually know the truth. And she also needs some kind of psychological treatment, because if if she has been in confinement, having a morning ablutions and her daily needs not being taken care of, then that is a real traumatic experience. So first she needs to really speak up. All she barely managed to say in the morning today was the fact that she is unable to do anything. She feels very weak. Suddenly she feels hungry, and suddenly she really does not feel like eating anything. This is about all that she managed to say. But then she also did point out that after she came back from the hospital is when her condition started worsening. So perhaps the parents were the ones who did not really take care of her. So these are the things that need to be really found out. So after the psychological treatment, and she also suffers from arthritis problems. So all these problems need to be first taken care of at Niman, and only then will her statement be recorded.
You know, Pratibha, before we go down to Ms. Nisargi, who's also joining us right now from Bangalore, the question I ask you is, of course, she's going to need help from all fronts: psychological, physical, mental, and of course to rehabilitate her back into the society. What is the reason? What is the reason that we are getting at this point of time, Pratibha, that this woman was confined for years in her own house? What is the reason that you're picking up right now? Because what we are getting to know, it was the audacity of falling in love with someone which her parents did not approve of.
There are really two different versions that are doing the rounds. One is the fact that she was in love with somebody and the parents did not really approve of this. But then the parents, on the other hand, maintain the fact that she was otherwise undergoing, suffering from depression, and that is why they had to really confine her. So the police is also really doubtful. They cannot really make any arrest as of now, because the truth needs to be found out, and that can happen only when the statement of the victim can be recorded, and that is going to take some time. But then even her cousins, her family members also point out the fact that she was really behaving very differently. But then the neighbors say that she was otherwise a very normal child. In fact, she did undergo education in one of the prestigious colleges in Malaysia.
We're going to discuss
she did
in terms of what the neighbors said. We're going to come back and we're going to get in word what you picked up from all the neighbors who finally came to the rescue of this young 26-year-old. Let's cut across at this point of time to Pramila Nisargi, women's rights activist and lawyer, who is joining us from Bangalore at this point of time. Ms. Nisargi, the sad point is that this is not the only case where we find prevalent medieval mindsets existing, flourishing in the modern society. This girl, her only fault, prima facie, is that she fell in love with someone who her parents did not approve of. And 4 years of confinement, and we can see her state on the television screen.
No, that does not appears to be true. The love may not be the true fact. According to me, the entire family look like all of them must be put in demands, and they need a treatment. They don't look like human beings. They are not treating the girl as human being. Her brothers are not working. They have clothes, once in 6 months. They wash it. They don't cook at home. They don't have a gas connection. They don't have a TV at home. Entire house is full of dirt. That is how the house looks. It looks like a ghost house when we enter and when we see there. And the girl is kept in such a atmosphere. She's a good-looking young girl. She is educated. She was giving tuition to the students. It is not known as to how she has come to this stage. You imagine the plight of that girl and the trauma that she has undergone for the past 4 years. She was in a room in a dungeon without any facility whatsoever. She was fully naked, nothing, no facility for even for her daily needs, neither for food nor for any other purpose. She was seen in such an atmosphere. She was crying whole night, asking for food. She was telling, asking for help. Kindly help me, give me food. This was the cry of the girl every night.
Right.
But not a single neighbor has come to her rescue.
Exactly, Mr. Nisargi, we put away for once, we put away the love angle. And like you just pointed out, that it was the entire family which was coexisting in this dump yard, as you said. It looked like nothing but a barn where animals lived. I'm quoting you, Ms. Nisargi. So, don't you think the society is to blame?
Yeah.
Because we've only festered this, turned a blind eye, and then only when things came down to this, when this girl cried out every night, we intervened.
I blame the system. I blame the law. The existing law is not sufficient for that purpose. See, what is the behavior of a normal human being? If according to them she was unaware, If she, according to them, she was not mentally sound, what is the law? They could have been taken to a mental hospital. They could have been given a treatment. The neighbors who heard the cry, they could have informed the police. Even a phone call would have been sufficient. Nothing has been done for the past 4 years. It is unimaginable whether in a society like ours, in this 21st century, whether a woman could be subjected to that. Leave alone a woman. Even about few days back, we had seen a child also confined like the same thing, tied with the chain. That's how the society is going, and we do not know what is to be done. Immediate education is required. We used to have a civics, class, we used to study how they have to take care of the neighbors and all that.
Right.
Nothing is there now.
It's very contrary, Mr. Sargi, very contrary to what the Indian society is perceived to be, isn't it? Because still now the Indian society is completely believed to take care of their neighbors. We know who our neighbors are, very different from what the Western society is perceived to be. But right now, it seems absolutely no difference.
I agree with you. I agree with you. This, not only the society, the law is also. If a person is confined for 1 day or 3 days, hardly the punishment is about 10 days or so. If they are confined for 3 months or so, the punishment is hardly 3 months. What is the law that we are having? Here is a case for more than 4 years. The maximum punishment that is found in the law book is only 3 years. Is it sufficient? It will not.
Right.
We want to have a society in which all must be made accountable. Law must be amended in such a way that such things will not recur under any circumstance. What is law that is required? The moment it is known to the police, they should register a cognizable case.
Right.
They have not done it. The parents have not been arrested. The brother has not been arrested. No complaint has been forthcoming. They have not referred this patient to a magistrate court under the Mental Health Act. They should have got a report from them, and they could have got a reception order where they could have got an order from the magistrate to put this girl in a psychological hospital or psychiatric hospital or a mental hospital where she could get good treatment. That is not done. A failure, negligence on the part of the government, on the part of the police, and on the part of the neighbors. Apathy. I would say lethargy on the part of them. They don't know what is their duty. Everyone fights for the rights, but they must also know what their duties are. Unless they know and they exercise, it also must be made punishable.
You're right there, Mr. Sargi. It's not just the authorities. You're completely bang on. It's not just the authorities. Every department, the citizens of this country have failed this young girl. These visuals that you see on your television screen mirror the society that we live in today's society, which is made up of you. It's made up of us. It's made up of I.